Governor Gretchen Whitmer spent her day at the White House. She met with President Biden about the semiconductor chip shortage that has plagued the auto industry for the past 2 years.
While in D.C., she talked with political reporter Rick Albin about legislation that could help solve some of the issues.
Governor, you're in Washington today for a very Michigan-centric quest, I guess I would say, when it comes to trying to figure out how we get our automotive industry rolling smoothly again with that big shortage of those chips that are vital to get those cars running. Tell me what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm here for a roundtable with President Biden, my colleague, Governor Holcomb from Indiana. It's a bipartisan effort to try to get Congress to get the CHIPS Act over the finish line. This would be a massive investment in infrastructure so that we can bring chip manufacturing to the United States and produce these microchips, these semiconductors right here. This is about jobs. This is about lowering costs for families. This is about American manufacturing, and it's about national security, because when these crucial components are only manufactured, across the world and not domestically, it undermines our ability to meet needs, to be competitive, and that's why it's really important that Congress get this CHIPS Act done, and that's why I'm here.
This is, in some part, an outcropping of the pandemic that we've experienced for the past 2 years, interrupting supply chains and manufacturing. But when you talk about trying to bring some of that manufacturing, and I suspect that there are a lot of manufacturing items that will be considered as we go forward, but bringing something like that back home to complete the supply chain for automotives is vital for Michigan's economy, isn't it?
There's no question. I mean, whether it's Whirlpool, right, creating our home appliances, or it is General Motors or Ford or Stellantis, everything from our smartphone to our dishwasher to our automobiles rely on these semiconductor chips. And we've seen with the pandemic that manufacturing, when we rely on foreign nations, it can bring us to a crushing standstill. And that's why it's so important that we are doing this advanced manufacturing. This is the future, and the future of mobility depends on it, as well as so many other things that our lives depend on. So this is about good jobs and lowering costs, but also our homeland security. And that's not an overstatement. That's not hyperbole. When we rely on Italy for swabs, and they shut down, the whole country comes to a standstill. Same for N95 masks, and that's why American manufacturing is the best. We've got to compete in this space as well. It's really important.
What do you hear? What's your sense of the prospects for this bill passing?
I think the prospects are very high. This seems to be a very bipartisan effort. It takes longer than any of us wants, unfortunately, but we're here to give Congress the kind of encouragement for them to get it over the finish line. And that's why, I'm here with my colleague from Indiana. We've certainly get along and see the world similarly on this one, that's for sure.
Governor, as always, we appreciate your time from Washington today.
Great. Thanks, Rick.